It's open when it's dark. It's the treasure hunt amusement park. Masquerade and Forest Fen are closed, but there are plenty more rides than just those. There's Beacon Star and Treasure Man, Vegas Die and Oak Island. Give them a try and you'll be smiling.
Okay, we got to change that song because we've got to add. There's a couple new treasure hunts, but the one we're going to talk about tonight is There's Treasure Inside by Jon Collins-Black. How's it going, K-Pro?
I'm tired. It's the beginning of the school year. The kids are rocking. Sam's got a job. The kids are growing up. So it's good. Everything's good. But I will say we've had some mini little explosions in this community we call the Treasure Hunt Amusement Park. So we got a lot to talk about. But tonight is all about JCB. But we do have, and if you don't know about it, a lot of people are like, tell me about it. I did not get a PowerPoint done. I promise I will try to get one for the next time. But I will say millions upon millions, including the olive jar and several other items that JCB purchased from the Forest Fen heritage sale. So millions upon millions. What do you think about that?
I wonder when he's actually going to talk about what is in his treasure from Forest Fen. But I guess before we even get into that, I guess let's go way back to the beginning.
Wait, can I say a couple things real quick first? Mm-hmm. There is a new hunt coming out. If you guys remember U.S. Treasure Hunt, he's doing a comic book, 10 hunts all around the country, including possibly Alaska and Hawaii. He's going to be on Thursday. So if you have questions about that, we have set him up in the Discord. That hunt, I think it sounds very exciting. So anything you have questions about, put them in the comment section or put them here because we're putting a list of questions together. He's launching. Also, there was some question about Dale, Yellowstone, the speakeasy that happened. And I'll just say maybe 3 or 4 speakeasies after that's happened. Forest Fen will be next week. Next Monday will be Forest Fen. Tonight is going to be all about JCB.
Okay. So tonight is all about There's Treasure Inside. And what I wanted to say was probably one of the hardest things, other than maybe the puzzles themselves, probably one of the hardest things he had is how do you come up with a title? Like, what do you call your book? What do you call the treasure hunt? And There's Treasure Inside. What a short and to the point good title. I mean, there's treasure inside. There's treasure inside the book. 5 treasure chests. There's treasure inside each treasure chest. I just thought the name was pretty cool. What, K-Pro? You don't agree?
I think it's so putting my marketing hat on, which I did before academia. You typically wouldn't want to use something with an apostrophe because what is the website? Is it There's Treasure Inside? No. There's some little things, but no, I think it's a cool title, but it makes some marketing challenges.
The website is treasureinside.com, so it doesn't even have the there. But yeah, I just thought it was a cool name because it's short, sweet, and to the point. I mean, he probably went through 100 different things on what to call it.
Is there treasure outside? Is there treasure inside? Do you see what Dan did there? Okay, so let's take a very step back for the people that don't know. So Jon Collins-Black is the name of the originator. He has put a book together and he has lots of items and there are 5 treasure chests. And he's hired a PR team. He did use Jens or is using Jens as a person doing some of the camera work and on the team. And Jon Collins-Black has pre-launched his PR side of things. So he's put some articles out, some pictures out, some information out. We're going to go over that tonight because he put a pretty lengthy interview in a Dungeons and Dragons area. So those of you that don't have a husband that loves Dungeons and Dragons, this is going to be good. I didn't even know what a dungeon master was. I was asking Mike about it. He's like, oh yeah, like when I was 10 and all the way till now. So I think it's cool. So he is releasing things a lot of different places. So whether it's his PR team or Instagram or on his website or wherever, we have one spot on Discord that we're kind of trying to archive it because he also when he does accidental errors or purposeful errors, he pulls down things that have typos and errors on it. And maybe that's a hit in itself. Maybe it's not. I don't know. But we have it all archived up on our Discord. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, before we even get into it, OTAC, our friend Candy says, you think this JCB hunt will possibly lead to answers from the Fen hunt or for the Fen hunt? What do you think, K-Pro?
Well, there is the famous olive jar that's in the Forest Fen hunt in one of the treasures. So if you believe that there is something that little rascal Forrest Fen would have put in the olive jar that he supposedly told everyone it's not worth anything, and it's gone from Jack to Justin to John. Now in the thing that we don't know is the olive jar opened? He knows what's in it and it's in the treasure, or is it unopened? We have not gotten that detail yet, but we did get a lot in this last pretty long interview that he did with the Dungeons and Dragons folks. So yeah,
we'll go back to the beginning, but did we mention Jens? Is that why who we put that?
Yeah, I did say Jens was the camera person. Jens is working on a documentary that we hope comes out, but right now, from what I'm understanding, it's I don't know. He put a credit to Jens on JCB did on his treasure box, and it's really some really cool video.
Yeah. And it's documentarian. It came out as documentation, but yeah, documentarian. Okay, so there's a lot of different things that have been posted. The website is treasureinside.com. I think most people know that. But the thing is, treasureinside.com, let's look at it real quick. One of the criticisms I think that K-Pro had was it doesn't list the articles he's done. It doesn't list the two things that he's put out. I mean, it's got a lot of information. So if you want to start with this Jon Collins-Black treasure hunt, go to treasureinside.com and you can pre-order the book in a bunch of different areas. There's a frequently asked questions. There's an about the author. There's some good stuff. Here's the treasure, if you were wondering what the items are, and we'll get into all that. But one thing is, there's nothing here about the articles he's put out. Right. There's nothing here about the things he's put out on the social media. So if only, K-Pro, there was one place where you could find all these things, if only. Well, there is, because we happen to have a forum that we've primarily been using for Forest Fen treasure hunt, but we've decided to make a sub forum for There's Treasure Inside, Jon Collins-Black. So check it out. I'm going to show you guys right now. What's interesting is it says Vegas Die at the top. That's interesting, but that's fine.
I repurposed it because I don't know how to make a new channel without calling a tech guy. So sorry about that.
So here, that's okay. So here, the hintofriches.com, everybody. Let me put it in the chat. Hintofriches.com. This is just a place where people can go post. As you can see, we have a couple different treasure hunts. But right here is There's Treasure Inside -JCB. You can see a couple people have posted already about the book, the 5 states. But a thread that I created was called JCB Promo and Social Media Links. And right here, I will put out every official communication or official link from JCB. It is free to sign up. There are some ads that you have that pop up on either side. Here's the website, treasureinside.com. This is the Twitter account. This is the Instagram account. This is the PR news.
I don't know if you're frozen up or me.
That's probably me. Who knows? Okay. So if you guys go there to hintofriches.com, and also it's a place where you guys can share your ideas once the book comes out, as far as what you think of the book, etc. And right there.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
The cool thing about this is you'll be able to see everything, whether you're registered or not. This is a secure.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah, you'll be able to see it. Like right now, I don't think you're signed in, Mike. I don't know if you are, but if you want to post on it, you actually have to register. But it's secured. We pay, I don't know, $1,000 a year to have a secured forum to make sure that there's inboxes and that sort of thing. You can delete posts. You can, add your avatar. You can DM other people. We do have a Discord that has a little bit more of a substantial, and I think Bavetta did a list of all the items that they could tell what they were. And someone said, is that all? There's nothing from Forest Fen. if you analyze those items, or really smart people do, like Gian Bavetta, there are several items from the Forrest Fenn treasure chest. I think we've counted 5 so far, but we don't have a picture of all the items. And I will say this, and there was a little excitement. Oh, there he is. Great U.S. Treasure Hunt. We're back, baby.
Thursday. David and Jeff will be on the show, Thursday's live show, to go over all the details of their new treasure hunt as well.
That's awesome. So Cynthia said in Discord last week, and Cynthia is close friends with Jens, and well, she did say that she has seen a picture with the olive jar on the JCB treasure chest. A lot of people, I said, that's not public if it's there, and several of you asked me to follow up with her. She knows she's seen it because she's like, I can picture it in my head. I know I've seen it. She's going through her archive right now. She knows she has the picture. She thinks it's up online. I said, there's no way it is a public picture, because I can tell you, we would have all analyzed whether it's cracked the seal or not. So she is looking for it. She will share it if she finds it. Memory goes, kind of like in Speakeasy last week. I couldn't remember where something was sourced from. So she did say it. She does believe it. It wasn't a slip. And she is going to post it on our Discord when she finds it. That'll cause its own issues if it is able to be found, because why do certain people have certain information? But that's how treasure hunts go. Certain people have certain information now. So leak. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, actually, Jon Collins-Black told everybody that he has plans for the olive jar, which on Copper Dan's YouTube channel, he actually put the response from, if I can find it here, he put the response from Jon Collins-Black, which is pretty cool. So at some point, I think Jon Collins-Black will make it public to everybody that olive jar is in there in one of the boxes. We just have to wait until that happens.
Yeah. So right now we know he told Jens and he told Copper Dan. Copper Dan got an actual statement that he released. But again, second-hand information. That's not the PR team yet, etc. So we're waiting to hear something more official. But John did show, like, the night of, because some of the shenanigans people were already saying that they had the olive jar, and he said, no, I bought the pickle jar. And so we're all kind of joke around, a lot of pickle references after that. And he did say at that time he was opening it, it would take about a year. And now he says it's in his treasure. Now, you don't know if that means he opened it and then he put it in the treasure, or if that means he didn't open it and he put it in the treasure. We don't know yet. So,
but that's just it. It's not a secret. He put it in Discord for everybody in Discord to see. Back when he bought the olive jar, back then when they heard it.
That's not really even a public thing, in my opinion. I don't think a private Discord that some people aren't in it, some people are. That's why the forum's nice. Even though I prefer Discord as a avenue of communication, that's not a public place, in my opinion.
Well, it's public for the Forrest Fenn community. It's not public for anybody outside the Forrest.
Oh, it is? I'm banned from that site. Really, it is?
You weren't back then when he posted it.
Oh, but I am now. So
right. Well, that's why Copper Dan put it on YouTube, so everybody can see it that wants to. So it was nice enough that he made the comment, though. When somebody reached out, he answered the question. That's all. I would rather have him done that than not respond, and then we have to wait and wonder, is it going to be in there?
Just like Shiloh, I would just like him to be able to speak for himself. He's hired a PR team, but if he wants to go through searchers, that's okay. That's his choice.
You're not allowed to talk about Shiloh, so number one, stop.
Okay, Forrest Fenn was able to talk with searchers privately, whether they shared it or not. Jon Collins-Black is a big boy. He's allowed to do that as well. But don't. I mean, and I don't think it's best practice, but he gets to do what he wants. It's his hunt.
Right. All we're doing is reporting what's gone down. I didn't really want to give my opinion on it, but we can. I mean, that's what our show is. We can give our opinion on how he's doing things. But what's important is that he has told the Forrest Fenn community that the Forrest Fenn's olive jar will be in the treasure hunt. So we'll wait and see when he comes out with that publicly for everybody, for those interested. So let's go over to Twitter real quick. He does have a Twitter.
And this is the one thing that, and I think it took Mike and I doing 10 hunts before, and they're little mini hunts. They're not anything. They're little popcorn ones, except the invitation is still out there. We put it all in one spot because that was like the number one thing that people said to us is, we don't like it when it's a little bit of everywhere. Like Forrest had Dale and Jenny, and then they had to go towards the end to multiple places. It's great if it's in one spot. But Mike is signing up for that on Thor, so we're going to help out. Hopefully it'll all be in one place eventually. But like I have a Twitter, but it was only to find one document one time or one tweet. And then there's stuff on Instagram, there's stuff on a website, there's stuff a little bit of everywhere. But Mike's on it, guys. Mike's here for you.
But again, you don't need any of that info. All you need is the book, and the book comes out October 21. But
has he said that?
What's that?
Has he said all you need is the book?
Yeah, I believe he has said all you need. All the clues and hints are in the book, right? Right. But what I was going to say is,
I didn't know he said that, but maybe he did.
What I was going to say is, oh, now you made me forget it.
Too bad.
What I was going to say is, hang on.
You're going to Instagram. You were saying how great it is that it's a bunch of different places. You were saying it was just in the book.
Right. Yeah. Hang on. Okay, so let's go over to Twitter. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I would say I'm not here to criticize the guy when the book's not even out yet. I might criticize him when the book comes out, but so far I think he's doing everything right. In my opinion, everybody can have their own opinion on it.
No, but can I say it a little different? I don't think he's doing everything perfect, but I think he has a really good, exciting hunt. But I'm not going to say everything's perfect just because I really like a new hunt. I think it's great. Let me give you this one. I think it was you that pointed out he had yet another typo, and it got corrected very quickly because someone's obviously watching our Discord. Is that criticizing him that he had a typo? Because you did that. No, because it got corrected. So it doesn't make it horrible. It makes it, I think this is the greatest hunt that's going to come up. This is like the next, what we need, but it's okay to point something out that's not perfect. And that's not criticizing in my opinion. And if it is, then you pointed out a typo and shame on you, Mike.
So what I wanted to point out was on his website, treasureinside.com, it says right here, not all items in the treasure are shown in the video. So one, that means the olive jar is not shown, but we don't know how many other things there are that he has not publicly shown yet. So maybe there's a surprise or two for the people who find the treasure chest. So not all items in the treasure are shown in the video. So I just wanted to point that out, where he has made it clear that not everything in that video is the treasure. All right. So if we go over to Twitter, boom, boom, boom. So this is Jon Collins-Black on Twitter, dad, husband, children's book author, JonCollinsBlack.com. And I created a treasure hunt. And as you can see on Twitter, he has been posting over the last week or two different screenshots. Now, we don't know if these are from the book or these just screenshots that he created as promo material, but he's got different quotes. Orison Swett Martin, there's treasure inside, California gold nugget. This is one of the items in the treasure chest. He did link to his article about he was inspired by Dungeons and Dragons. Another one from a Gosho Oriyama with a keen eye for details. One truth prevails. Another one of the treasure, which is interesting, is he's got Bitcoin. My guess would be that each of the treasure chests, there are five treasure chests, 5 states, each are going to have a Bitcoin. This is a digital Bitcoin. It says one of multiple in our treasure. So pretty awesome stuff. Here's another one by Mary Oliver. I've hidden a treasure somewhere in the United States. It's worth millions upon millions of dollars, and it's waiting for you to find it. And that's one of the interesting things that we realized from the article he did, and that is that the treasure chests are already out there hidden. They're out there now. We're all just waiting to get the book, to get the clues, to try and figure out where they're at.
Well, it's interesting that he says key eye for detail, and I think we've caught at least more than 2 or 3 or 4 typos. Well, right now, do you think they're just typos and he just kind of didn't pay attention to detail? Or do you think they're hints, Mike? Are those hints?
No, because as Sam points out, how are news searchers going to get that info that was pulled down from Amazon? They're not, which is why it's not important, in my opinion. In other words, they're not. That's why you need the book. Obviously, the clues are in the book to find the treasure chest. I think the stuff that he does for promo stuff, I don't think you have to know about his article about Dungeons and Dragons. I don't think you have to know about this extra stuff, in my opinion.
But like the Bitcoin, I wonder if there's a typo in the book. Well, it'll be interesting. If there's this many typos, unintentional, and they don't matter, and they're not hints, if we've already seen so many of them in the promos, Ooh, and we had typo in our book, and we had to clarify it because we didn't believe in red herrings. But he says key eye for details, which I don't know. It's interesting.
But that's just it. We don't know. You're right. We don't know. I don't know. You don't know.
Could be hints
until the book comes out. What's that?
Yeah, it could be a hint.
It could be, but like your point is, it wouldn't be fair for the people who didn't catch it. So that's why I don't think it's a hint, unless it's that way in the book. You know what I mean? Unless it's just he's giving a preview of the book. I mean, a lot of authors give a preview of the book before it comes out. So what if I get the book and I didn't see that preview? I don't think it matters.
Right. No, I definitely lean towards it's just typos, but then that makes me worry the number of times we've had that happen so far. But let's keep this positive, Mike. You keep up bringing bad stuff.
Well, I don't. But anyway, all right. So if we go back to Hint of Riches, let's see what I posted on there. So he did a interview about how Dungeons and Dragons inspired him to do this treasure hunt. It's a pretty cool interview. It's on screenrant.com. You can go to hintofriches.com, but I will put a link to it here for anybody who hasn't read it. You know, I put a copy of this on, or not on Reddit, or anybody who hasn't read this at Hint of Riches. I put a link to our show on Reddit, and somebody said, oh, that's a scam. They just, without even knowing anything about it, when you see $1 million hunt, they just said that's got to be a scam. But actually, the guy looks pretty legit, or at least he's trying. Now, will it be a perfect treasure hunt? Well, no, I don't think anything's perfect. But will we get a winner? Will we get a solution? We hope so. So you can go here and read how Dungeons and Dragons inspired Jon Collins-Black real-life treasure hunt. Now, I know some other people who said, oh, Dungeons and Dragons, I'm out. I don't know anything about Dungeons and Dragons. And again, I don't believe the article meant you have to know anything about Dungeons and Dragons. I think it's what inspired him, especially for the treasure. That's how I read it. That's my take on it.
Well, and my take on it is, I think we saw how Forrest Fenn's hunt got solved. You kind of need to know the man to know how he would make puzzles. Knowing that Dungeons and Dragons was something that inspired him, and he's that type of person, escape room, Dungeons and Dragons, that sort of puzzles and things, I think is interesting, but I don't know enough about Dungeons and Dragons to know, like he said, it's the 1983 box set. That's how he envisioned the treasure. Would that be, because he did say that he developed all the puzzles on his own. So that just gets you to know how like you doing a hunt, Mike, you like codes and things more than I do. Knowing the person and kind of how they see life in developing a puzzle, I think could be informational.
It could be. I mean, I don't have the book. So I think once we get the book, and when we do get the book, everybody, me and K-Pro will do a review. We will make some videos on the book itself. And we're also going to do a giveaway. We've ordered an extra book. So at some point after everybody receives their book, if you're like that $50 price tag or $44, whatever it is, a little steep, we will give it away. We will give a book away down the road once we get them. So yeah, I mean, he goes into COVID. He kind of had the idea during COVID. He says financially he had the means by which to do it. And he likens the treasure hunt to being a dungeon master. In the game of Dungeons and Dragons, you create a story. You create a dungeon and you lead people through it. You create what's in that dungeon, what people encounter. So he looked at it. He did use that as a metaphor to create his treasure hunt, which I think is a really, really cool idea. The other thing is the treasure. I mean, Dungeons and Dragons is not anything without a treasure. Usually that's the point of the game, trying to find a treasure. And he said the idea of gold coins and rare gems and then a gold chalice. I really wanted a gold chalice. It became really, really hard to find one, but he really wanted one. And he's got a Tiffany vase. You know, he's got some very interesting things in his treasure hunt. It's just not the typical cash or gold or silver or whatever it might be. So another interesting question from the article is they said, what was your process to create these puzzles and these clues so it was possible for people to find it, but not so easy that someone could just trip over it? And he said, well, I guess we'll find out, right? Meaning we'll find out how hard they are. I mean, K-Pro pointed out in the past, you pointed out that this is really his first treasure hunt. So are the clues going to be so difficult nobody finds it, or is the thing going to be over in a month? It will be interesting to see.
Well, and Coy, we haven't seen you in here, Coy, for a long time. Welcome back. Coy brings up an interesting one because here's something I found. So on JCB did the advertising or an interview with a Dungeons and Dragons person. If you go up to Collective Publicity, which is his PR company, they had a major Washington Post article that they developed. Anderson Cooper's in it and a few others that are really into Dungeons and Dragons. And they promoted it without talking about JCB at all. And that's on their Instagram. So are they doing that separately? Does it play much more of a part? I found it interesting that his paid PR company is advertising Dungeons and Dragons in such a significant way. That goes to what Coy is saying. He might just be trying to promote different bases of potential customers.
There you go. We'll wait and see. I mean, there's really no way to know. And Coy was the winner of Breakfast Tea and Bourbon, $50,000 treasure hunt several years ago. So congrats, Coy. Wonder if any of that money is left. Eleanor says, will you be doing Zooms for it? Yeah, I think we will. I think we're going to get a group of people together. We do have a Discord.
The first one's going to be tonight. I have had requests. Yeah. We're going to do the speakeasy. If someone can put in Discord, so that in Discord, okay, I'm not very tech savvy and I really like Discord, guys. You go in and you go to the chat function and we all keep our cameras off. We had about, 80 people in it last week. And we were just chit-chatting about the Forest Fen hunt. We're going to do one of those tonight in Discord after this. I want to go over from beginning to the end, the Dungeons and Dragons article that was done. If somebody will put a link in there. Ooh, Vertigo's in we got everybody coming in here for this one. I'm going to highlight, it's a really long article. It's really awesome. And I want to highlight the things that I noted. Mike might have some different ones, or I would like you to give your perspective as we're doing it. Are you good with that, Mike?
Yeah. You're saying in Discord, we're going to do it, correct?
No, right now.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what I've been reading from. That's what I've actually been going through.
Yeah, you went ahead. Okay. So you keep going. Maybe I'll do mine later.
Yeah. No, well, I just wanted to point out that Ken Oklahoma, our friend, says with the amount of money involved, I'm sure he test drove the puzzles. Like, in other words, he had to have somebody bound to try the puzzles, see how hard they are. I mean, Forrest Fenn had Douglas Preston, right? And Douglas Preston said, you got to make that poem harder. Well, check it out. He addresses this in the article, and he says, Jon Collins-Black says, I really had to do this myself, and so I couldn't test it. I couldn't really run it by people. So I think that what helped me was having searched for treasure before. Jon Collins-Black did search for Forrest Fenn's treasure, I believe. Kind of having an idea of translating clues from the written word to actually out into nature. And also that me and my wife, even outside of Dungeons and Dragons, were into games and puzzles and escape rooms. So I have a working knowledge of how things can be put together. So I try to use a variety of things. So if you believe what he put there, Ken, he did not actually run these puzzles by anybody. He just made them himself. And we're all going to have to decide the difficulty level when we get the book and try and work them out ourselves. Okay,
so
go.
Davio's asking, how can you test a treasure hunt? There's two ways, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. One of them is you get a trusted confidant like Douglas Preston, and you say, here's where I put my treasure, and it's really hard. Do you think? And Douglas says, oh, this is too easy. Change some things. Or you can do what Mike and I did. We did little tiny hunts. We did $100 here or for a coin or for something. And if you get about 10 of them under your belt, you understand some people get hung up on stuff you never would have thought of. Some people got some of the hardest things right off. So practice makes perfect. So you kind of test run smaller hunts until you do a bigger hunt. Now we're on our bigger hunt, which is around, $2,000-$3,000. And probably the next one we do will be bigger than that and bigger than that once you get some experience.
Yes, good info. And then he gets into details, which is really interesting because we're all dying to know how this book is going to be compiled. Like, how are the clues set up in the book? And what he says is, I've hidden 5 treasures. One is larger than the other 4. So I have clues in most of my chapters. Most of my book is kind of open game for clues to the largest treasure. And then I have 4 specific chapters, one for each of the other 4 treasures. So each of those boxes has its own chapter so that I could organize it because I didn't want it to just become chaos. And those 4 chapters I gamified a bit more. I have real games and puzzles, and it's a bit tongue-in-cheek. I wonder what that means. It's a bit tongue-in-cheek. I just kind of get a little nerdy with it. Well, that'll be right up my alley. So I don't know if K-Pro will like it so much. We'll see. I don't know what nerdy, what he means by nerdy.
I married a nerd. Are you kidding me?
No, but what I mean is trying to solve it. Does that mean pop culture? You have to know pop culture references? I mean, what does that mean?
No, that doesn't mean that. No.
But he does say, I feel hopefully that there's things that will appeal to different personality types. There'll be different types of puzzles for different types of people. And some people might be inspired to go after one particular treasure versus another based on how well they feel they understand what those clues might be. So there could be some puzzle types that appeal to K-Pro. There might be some different puzzle types or clues that appeal to me and to everybody else. So it's going to be interesting for sure. I mean, when this book is delivered and it says, I don't know if October 21st is the ship date or if we're all going to receive our books, hopefully on October 21st. But I know the day it comes in, just cancel everything else because all we're going to do is just read it first.
Oh, I'm going to have the truck oiled up, gas
ready
full.
to go.
I've cleared my week. All I need you just solve it, and then I will run, and I'll probably leave it under a bench. I don't know. Okay.
So he says, I wanted the book to have an overarching structure. I didn't want it to be just a book of games and puzzles only because I thought that was a little simplified. I did want there to be some real good reading, hopefully entertaining reading. So what happened was I acquired all these objects, about 65 to 70. There's some other breaking news. We've got 65 to 70 items in these 5 treasure chests.
Okay, wait, you missed a couple things that I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Can I chime in here? Mr. I'm all excited.
Go ahead.
JCB. Yeah, I'm here too. Okay, so I think it's interesting that it seems, let me ask you, do you assume those 4 chapters are called out? These are the 4 chapters with the smaller chests?
I think they are, yes.
Okay, and when he said he gamified it a bit, what the hell does that mean to you?
Yeah, gamify. That's a good question. What does that mean? I mean, this is a game. It's a game. It's a race to who can find these treasure boxes first. So I don't really know. I don't know what he means by gamified. I think that word could mean a couple different things to different people if you're into games or not. So I'm not sure.
I don't know.
It'll be
really
the other
interesting. One is clues in most chapters. So there's 4 chapters and it's called out. This one's in, I don't know. I hope the Northeast, the Northwest, the da-da-da. Those. You
think
4.
You'll give us a vicinity or an area? I don't know.
I personally think that's what the X means. I think there's one in each region. So that's a guess.
Interesting.
So, but he says there's clues in most chapters. So the big one is going to be spread all throughout the book. So a little harder, right?
Yes. And that one, I don't think it'll be like, hey, here's a puzzle. But again, I don't know. He said there are actually puzzles, like a page that is a obvious puzzle. And then there might be some clues in the text.
He said real games and puzzles. It's a bit tongue and cheek. Real games? What does that mean? You have to go get your Monopoly out. Ooh, you better have your Chaseopoly.
Well, just like another treasure hunt out there called The Invitation. What did we have in our book? We had a word search. We had a crossword puzzle. Aren't those real games?
You know, word search. That as games. Okay.
Right.
I was thinking board games. Okay.
Yeah. So you could look at tic-tac-toe or something that could be in book form as a real game, I guess.
Okay, put Vertigo's comment up. It
I have my IKEA bag.
Feels like excitement is building for Treasure Inside, and we still have 2 months. Vertigo, come back at the end of the year. You know what? I'm gonna
Well, here's another question that I believe is going to address it in the book, but I wonder if he would address it before the book comes out. And that is, when it snows, can you find this thing in the snow? We're assuming 1 or 2 of them is going to be in one of the northern states. It comes out in October. 2 months later, there's going to be snow on the ground. Can you find it in the snow, or should you wait, until spring to go find one that you think is up?
He's going to have to, especially being in October, he's going to have to. And the sad part, he's probably going to say, don't go to the north ones until next year. And no one's going to listen. But and then there's Greg Keller, and there's Rudy Green. Everyone's in the house.
Rudy Green says, good thing I put a heater in my van. That's funny.
Okay, wait.
There's going to be a lot of Sudoku. There's another good one. That could be one of the puzzles.
I love Sudoku. I used to play that every day for years.
And you thought you weren't going to like it.
I'm going to be a contributor too, Mike.
And then Hooli has a question. Can you stay anonymous if you find one of these things? Because the treasures are actually in the box. A little bit different. He's doing what Forrest Fenn did. It's not a proxy. It's not here's something, but you have to contact me to get the rest. According to him, everything is there. So do you even have to let him know that you found it? How is he going to know when one's found? I mean, there's all these questions that come up that hopefully they're addressed in the book.
He says he has a postscript on safety. I'm hoping he has a postscript on kind of safety operations, rules, requirements, those sorts of things. Right. Exactly.
Husband diaries. We're bringing all the old friends back.
I know. You see this?
Yeah.
House husband, Greg Keller, Vertigo. Rudy's been around a couple shows, but He was missing for a little while. Great U.S. treasure hunt. Coy, look. And that doesn't even include all the new names and all the new people. Okay, wait. The theme is we're all treasure hunters. This is an overarching. Yeah. I love that. I would have almost liked that to be the name of the book. That is, I love that.
We're all treasure hunters. That would have been a cool title as well. Yeah.
I love that because how many of you got in? I'm like, I'm a desk person, office person. I could never go. I'm out of shape. It's not great. And Forrest is like, hell yeah, you go. I think Jon has that same thought. When he said that, that made me smile. That I can tell you that at our events, we have anywhere from really significant multimillionaires to homeless. We have musicians, we have engineers, we have everyone in between. And I think it's the most exciting part of those events because I get to meet so many different walks of life that aren't like me. And I love to meet people and have that like, oh, I didn't think of that way because of, and it's just, and it brings together. So I love that theme.
Fanny Bones in the house. I think this treasure hunt will bring a lot of people that have not worked on anything since the Thrill of the Chase. I think this one's going to bring them back out.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. That was what, now I'm at your part. Let's kind of go hand in hand here.
Okay.
65 to 70 objects.
That's news.
And unique. Yes.
Right. Here's the next paragraph. I hired 5 researchers who worked with me for 6 months, researching all the stories and histories of all these items and then coming back with the best. So it sounds like the history of not all of them are in the book, but the ones that he considers the best are in the book.
And he was surprised. Some of the research brought him surprises.
Yeah, right. There are a lot of surprises I didn't even realize related to the history of all these items. So really, once I got that, I realized these items could kind of write the arc of the book. So those stories.
Jones is here.
That's what I just said. Yeah.
I was looking. I was like, "Are you kidding?" Because hi, Fanny Bones. We haven't seen you in a while.
Now, D.B. Cooper has got another point, which is valid. Is how can we be sure these researchers won't get compromised? Ooh. Well, what we don't know is if those stories are part of the clues or hints, or does he have separate puzzles? We just don't know. We don't know what we don't know until we get the book. And that's why, the criticisms are valid. I didn't mean to get on K-Pro earlier, but until we get the book in our hot little hands, we just don't know how we set this thing up. But
you're seeing in this criticism, I'm just saying that they factually happen. I'm not saying they're a huge deal. They are things in my mind. Like right now, I think there's a typo. That's not calling him the devil. There was a typo. It actually happened.
I get it.
Is it a hint? Is it not? Because you sure overlook some things sometimes. Fandango, all you had to do was fold some damn pages. And that was something that people didn't. When he says pay attention to key detail in one of his postings, and we do pay attention to detail, and he corrects them, is that what we're supposed to? Is that the detail?
Well, when we first saw the misspelled word on Amazon and some of the previews of the pages, I automatically thought it was a hint because I thought they were intentional. But since he has since corrected them, it's like, okay, maybe they're not. So we just don't know. Because he corrected them, it seems like they weren't intentional. Now, if we get the book and there's misspelled words in the book, he's got to have an errata list. He's got to come out and say, oh, this was a mistake.
He doesn't got it. He doesn't have to do anything you say.
I would hope. As a treasure hunter, I would hope.
Oh, when I say I would hope this or I hope that, you say I'm criticizing. Okay, mister.
Well, you're not allowed to bring up Shiloh, and now you're not allowed to criticize Jon Collins-Black either.
Okay, do the not allowed again. Do the not allowed again.
If anybody doesn't know, me and K-Pro are married. We're in the same house. I'm here at the Cowlazars Command Center. She's downstairs, and we have a lot of fun with these treasure hunts, everybody. Mm-hmm. One thing about our live shows is you get a different perspective. She has her own perspective. I have mine. And together, we usually get these things figured out. Hooli says,
no,
Jon
I'm usually right, and I let it go and let Mike let it go. And that's just okay. Wait, hold on. I have a couple things.
Hooli says, Jon is a smart dude. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt until otherwise. And that's all I was trying to say. Hooli just articulated it better than I could have. Go ahead. Go.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying it's factual. So I'm not giving him any doubt. I actually think it might be a hint, which is a good thing, a clever, oh my gosh, you guys are making it. Hooli, don't team up don't do that. You guys.
Okay.
Hold on.
Next one. Go.
No, hold on. Wasn't Vertigo partnered up with Posey in the invitation? Vertigo is afraid of the invitation because I don't believe, has bought in, and neither did Justin. Why? We don't know. Okay. Shiloh, who don't start, you guys. Okay.
Here's the question. When and where are his book signings going to be?
I have that answer.
All right, we'll go.
Loco Lobo, shout out to you if you're out there. Loco Lobo, talk to his PR person. He is going to be doing a book tour, but they are not going to have books there. You have to buy your book beforehand. I have reached out and talked and communicated with the PR person and said, when you are I'm assuming he's going to have one in LA. He lives there. I said, can you make Vegas one of his book signings? Because guess what, guys? It's about 85 degrees in late October in Vegas. We're going to do a halfway event. It will be World Series. No, there's always going to be World Series event. We will have some signature event where we can make it a meetup as well. Wouldn't that be fun? Or we get a bunch of books from you guys and we'll get them signed. I don't know. We'll do something. I think this,
Me and K-Pro will be there. If there's an LA signing, I think me and K-Pro are making the trip. Yeah, for sure. It'll be fun. Yeah, okay. This is good. It's good. It's fun to get excited about a new treasure hunt again, just like we had with the Thrill of the Chase. And some of these other ones like Beacon Star, et cetera, have gotten me excited. K-Pro's not so much excited. But I think this one, I think a lot of people are going to get drawn in. We've got some live audio from Jon Collins-Black referring to all the things he bought for the treasure.
I can make that much money in 5 seconds.
He's got the means. That's all I'm saying. He's got the money, guys.
Those of you that don't know, I made a horrible mistake about 5 years ago, and I got Mike what's called the soundboard. And he has a whole set of sounds that he's never supposed to play. I actually went through all of his sound clips, and I put it in do not play. So he constantly goes in there, and he will play those when he wants to get ornery. And we haven't heard any of those tonight, and nor should we, Mike. But you're going to hear lots of sound because we're professional here. I don't have any lighting right now. I don't know what's happened. All the lights went off here for a second, and now I can't get them back on.
And that's the two sides of the chase. You're the dark side, and I'm the light side. You see how we have different things right here going on?
I'm the dark side?
Well, I meant of the chase, of the opinions of the chase, not in general.
I'm the dark side?
Live audio from K-Pro.
Not like a regular mom. I'm a cool mom.
Okay, everybody. All right, let's get beyond that. Let's go back to the article. What else you got for the article, K-Pro?
Okay, I need to turn my flashlight on. There are clues in the text and maybe the images, and a magnifying glass was important to him.
Does that say that? Where's that at? I missed that part.
See, this is why you need me. I'm detailed. You're not.
There you go. And there's the two sides of the coin. All right.
Yeah, way dark.
Yeah, and there's really some cool items. I mean, Pablo Picasso, Amelia Earhart. There's all these different. There's all these different relics. That's right, Davio. Davio gets it. There's all these different elements from history that would just really be cool to own. It's not just the cash. It's not just not a gold, but the cash and then Bitcoin and gold and silver. I believe silver is there as well. So I think it could really, Darth K-Pro. I think it could really appeal to a lot of people. All I got to say is,
don't be a player hater.
That's right. Don't player hate on Jon Collins-Black. You don't know him.
Why do you call it hate? What's wrong with you people? I'm sorry. Just like I say about Forrest Fenn, it's okay to say something. He's not a god, guys. It's okay to say something that is not ideal, but it's very positive. This is very exciting. This is the most exciting thing ever since the chase ended 1,597 days ago.
There is a 96-carat emerald in the treasure. 96-carat emerald. I mean, how awesome would that be? It would be right here on the shelf, right here on the treasure hunting shelf, right there. That would be really cool. Just to find one of these treasure boxes. I wonder if the book tells you what is in each treasure box, or is it just a surprise? Like if I really want the Forrest Fenn olive jar, am I going to know which one it's in? I'm assuming it's in the big one. But is that in the book, or is it just a surprise and you figure it out when you open it? All right, go K-Pro. What else?
Okay, well, this one's interesting because he talks about Amelia Earhart.
Right.
And the piece that's in there, his researcher found out it was something different. I'm not going to give away all the details because one of our searchers, very trusted searchers, if there is such a thing, that's an oxymoron, said that's not what they discovered when they went to the auction. So there's a little bit of maybe an error on purpose. Oh, we can't say error.
Or is it a hint?
I think it's dark.
Or is it a hint? Well, here's one that I thought was very interesting. He says, theoretically, I could have made this treasure hunt even bigger and wilder, but I felt there was a point at which people might get a little too excited. I had seen it in some of the experiences that watching other people search for treasure. And I really wanted to try to protect people as much as I could from doing anything that might put themselves in harm's way. We know from personal experience that he's talking about the thrill of the chase. At least that's one of the hunts he's talking about. And speaking of that, I want to say thank you to whoever sent me their solve in the mail today. Look at that. So I did read it over. I have no idea what any of this means, but thank you for sending that solve to the thrill of the chase. Yeah. So I also want to remind people, Huli, if you could put the link to Discord, we are going to have a get together where we all get in there and talk about JCB's hunt as soon as the live show is done tonight. If you look down in the description of this video, you'll see the link to Discord. It's free. A lot of other treasure hunts are there separated, and it'll be the JCB discussion will be a lot of fun. What I want to know,
someone has already claimed you and told me that he is search partnering with you. So it's funny that you say you don't.
Is that right? What'll be interesting is who is going to get the book in the mail first, because I don't think Jon Collins-Black can really control who gets their book when. The way I've always understood it is the closer you live to a big airport in your state, you get the mail first because it's coming from that airport.
Did you know that Vegas now, it actually routes up? Even if I'm sending a piece of mail next door, it gets routed up to Sacramento and then routed back down.
Is that right? Oh.
Yeah, it's a big controversy here. So
That's
we're
good.
screwed.
That's a good question, Doug. Did JCB go boots on the ground for the Forest Fen hunt? I don't know if he's ever said that he has. What do you think, K-Pro? Has he? Don't criticize him. Right. As you know,
I might have seen an interview that I shouldn't have seen that maybe answers that, so I'm not going to answer that, Mike, because I was trying to be
you can't criticize,
Mike.
All right. Okay, interesting. Well, so I think that's a yes, Doug. I think he was a Forest Fen searcher.
Okay, wait. So Amelia, let's go back to. Come on, we're trying to be positive here in this thing.
Yeah, we're trying. Go ahead.
So the Amelia Earhart, he talks about being able to reverse engineer things. And the reverse engineering showed an aberration, something that is different factually than what really happened. Let me get my words right so we don't offend any fluff here. So is that anomaly something we should be looking for?
Or maybe it relates to this. DB Cooper says, but he was a searcher and he called it a pickle jar in Discord. He didn't say olive jar. He said pickle jar. Or was that on purpose?
It's a hint.
Well, it's a hint. And will it make sense when you get your hot little hands on his book?
Oh, but wait, Mike, that wouldn't be fair for people that don't see it a year ago and it's not public. So that wouldn't be fair. So it couldn't be.
Nobody talks to my friends like that.
You heard me. You heard me. All right. And yeah, anyway, I'll leave it that way. Okay. We'll see. I want that pickle jar. So if anybody finds it, I'm putting it out right now. Me and K-Pro will buy it from you if it's not opened. So keep that.
You know what? Let's talk before you just blurt those things out.
All right.
Yeah.
One of the things that I think is very cool, this is the person interviewing him in the article. One of the things that I think is very cool about this is that you make a point to say anyone can do this. This is not crazy, super hard, where it's going to be impossible. Anyone can do this. Why was that so important for you, not only as a theme in your book, but just thematically for this entire experience? And that's when he says he could have made it even bigger and crazier, but he didn't, he didn't want to go that crazy because he didn't want people to put themselves in harm's way. He says he's a real proponent of getting outdoors, getting away from your cell phone, getting away from your TV, going out and exploring nature. Where have you heard that before, K-Pro?
Yeah, forest. Okay, can I go to my part?
Forest. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so then this is where Dungeons and Dragons becomes important. So first he references the 1983 basic box set of the One Red Dragon on a hoard of treasure.
Which I had when I was 11 years old, by the way. Here, I'll show a picture of it. This is from the article. Go ahead. There is the box set from, I believe it was like 81 when it came out, 82, 83? Somewhere around there.
It says 83 right there.
Okay. Well, then I was 13 when it came out. And I bought it back then. I remember. Go ahead.
Okay. So he says now he got back into it as an adult. Mm-hmm. And he does these slumber parties, 3-day jam sessions, all about D&D in his late 30s and 40s. It's a whole weekend he does in January, just like WSOF.
That's awesome.
It's 30 people that come, all about Dungeons and Dragons. Now, here's the funny part. What if do you think those people have an advantage that have seen him as Dungeon Master?
Oh, that's true. I mean, are his friends and family, can they play? I'm assuming his wife can't play, but can his family, that you're right, that play D&D with him, are they allowed to search for this treasure? I don't know. I don't know. He would have to answer that. So,
ooh, Coy, you're saying me too. Were you a dungeon master?
yeah, he says he's still a DM for a table group today. Exactly. I played within the last, I'd say, 2 years. I played D&D.
Your currency just went up, and your breakfast tea and bourbon solver. Oh man, you could start the bidding for partners there, Coy.
T. Brown, our incredible hunt friend, play D&D with my kids every Saturday. That's awesome. That's cool. I've got a lot of the little D&D miniatures from
okay.
some
Now this might not be as there's a lot of you D&D guys, and you guys are all people that have solved stuff.
So somebody asked who does never play. Ken Oklahoma says never played D&D. Was there puzzles? What kind? Riddles, numbers? Dungeons and Dragons is all about using your imagination. That's what the entire game is about. Think of it like Minecraft. Minecraft, you have the tools, but when you go into that video game, you've got to create. It's a whole world you create yourself. D&D is the same way. The rule books give you the rules of how to play, but it's really up to the dungeon master to create that story, to create the scenario. And then each individual player that's playing that dungeon master's dungeon or campaign, they make decisions, and that decision alters the story. And the story can go a million different ways. It really is a fun imagination exercise.
So take a group of people that come together. Usually they're kind of the very, very smart types. Mike says nerdy. I don't like to use that word. That come together, and each week one person's in charge of creating the puzzle. And then and the puzzle could go many different ways, like he says, but they create it and they put all the time in to developing a really cool night of different types of puzzles, different types of stories, etc. Depending on the dungeon master, the stories and the puzzle and how they apply their imagination differs from either week to week, month to month, whatever it is. I've never played, but I have a family member that used to be in my home that played, and Mike and Coy and a few others. So it sounds like it's really for, I'm just going to generalize, kind of the super smart, imaginative. You add those two together. Sometimes they don't come together, but
it's not so much smart, but imagination, I think. And like I'm
interested in doing something like that.
As Sam points out, imagination is more important than knowledge. Yeah, for sure. Great U.S. treasure hunt. Remember, live show Thursday on their treasure hunt. 10 states, 10 coins, $10,000. I'm so old, I played a game called Empire of the Petal Throne. Now, I haven't heard of that one, David, to which we completely rewrote both the combat and the magic rules. That's the other cool thing with D&D is you can make up your own rules. I mean, it's really subjective. If you have a good dungeon master, they are prepared for every scenario.
So here's what I just found out. This is super interesting. I got in some D&D groups because that's what I do if this is about D&D. And I asked them, like, if I were to get Mike a gift, he was a D&D guy, what would you get? And you know what they said? You can go to these gaming stores and say, I want to hire a dungeon master. I'm having a party at my house.
That's
I want
awesome.
to hire a dungeon master that comes to the house, and you tell them kind of how you want it themed, like what kind of puzzles or, any ideas. I thought that was a super interesting idea. Maybe we should do that for WSOF.
Oh, D&D at WSOF. That would be awesome. So I had all the original D&D books. I had all the modules all the way in the 80s, and unfortunately in the 90s, I sold them all on eBay. It'd be worth a fortune nowadays if you have the original stuff. But unfortunately, I didn't realize I was going to have kids back then, and I ended up getting rid of them. But still good stuff. Okay. But one of my fondest memories of D&D is mapping out the dungeon. So you would always have graph paper, at least in the 80s, before they had all the miniatures and all the play mats and everything. You would just have graph paper, and the dungeon master would say, you go 50 degrees south through a tunnel, and you would map it out. You draw the lines, and you're in a room. It's 50 by 50 feet, and there's a door in the east. On the east, there's a door on the west. There's a puddle of water in the middle, and we would write all this out on graph paper. What if, I don't know if he could pull it off, but what if Jon Collins-Black book is you're actually mapping out where you go to search for one of these treasure chests? In other words, what are the clues going to be? GPS, of course, is a way to locate something, but is he going to do is it like a point to point reference? You know what I mean? Almost like Dungeons and Dragons where you map it out. That would really be
like hone in states, county, city, or are you going across, or it's just boop? GPS.
Or is it just highway to landmark to street to, I mean,
north here, Look at all these people.
Wouldn't that be cool, DB Cooper, if he actually did that? If he could pull that off to where he is the dungeon master in his own treasure hunt through his book, and we're mapping out where the treasure is. I mean, that would really be cool. So, who remembers Thaco? Anybody? Thaco? All the real D&D players know what Thaco is.
No.
All right. Don't ruin it before he even publishes it, Eleanor says. So, all right. Okay. Oh, nice.
You see that?
Yeah. If I said imagination is more important than knowledge 2 times, I'd be missing a D&D. That's pretty good. Okay, so let's continue on because we've got other stuff to get to outside of the article. So, yeah, I think I think really he's pulled the thrill of the chase back forefront for a lot of people that kind of lost it after the thrill of the chase ended, which is a good thing. And then we'll get the book and we'll all work on it, and hopefully we're going boots on the ground and we're having fun. And maybe, just maybe, somebody watching the show or in the chat will find one of the treasure boxes. Let's talk about the boxes themselves, K-Pro. What do we know about the boxes?
So he hired a company, and this man actually has a review up on Amazon. So it's not a review of the book. It's a review of his treasure boxes. So it's actually a puzzle to be able to open these boxes. If you have gone, I've gone to like puzzle stores and I've gotten Mike boxes where actually one of them we've never been able to get into because some of them are difficult. It is one of those, but he says, do not fear. This is, I don't remember from what article. He says something like there's instructions of how to get it open.
Yeah, right. So it is a puzzle box that, you've got to figure out how to open it. So here's the thing. You find the box wherever it is. Let's say you're out in the middle of the wilderness and you find it. Do you try and open it there, or do you run back to your car and go back to your hotel room and try and open it there? I mean, I guess it depends if other people are around. If you pass somebody that's also searching, it's really going to be interesting on how long this goes and how many people
has a GPS in it. What if part of the rules is you might be getting filmed as you're finding it and that you have to opt in?
Yeah, I mean, we don't know what we don't know.
I don't want the crazies to know I found the olive jar.
Well, what will be really interesting is if a general area is figured out and somebody makes it public. Like, hey, everybody, it's in this forest. Look, here are the clues in the book. And now everybody's on that national forest, like Yellowstone National Park, for example, and we're all looking for it. You know what I mean? And now it becomes a lot of people are out there looking for it.
No, we learned when Diggin' Gypsy came out of where she was searching and Jack went and found her and she gave the farm away. We've learned we won't do that. What are you going to share, Mike, if you're doing a Zoom?
That's it. We're going to make these videos on the book, but if we actually solve something, it's counterproductive to share it unless we're on a team with some people.
And this is what happens during the Zooms. Some people share a lot. Some people just sit and listen. This is a little bit of a controversy. Some people are in teams and they'll only Zoom with their team. Some people, a lot of times, it'll just sit there silent with everyone in the room working on whatever it is. Typically speaking, what we have seen in our experience with hunts, not only our own, but others, is like Xavier Marks is a good example. Everybody kept close hold, their little secret info. But then after like 6 months, they would say, okay, does anyone have this solved or that solved? And I'll trade. There's tons of trading going on.
That's a game in and of itself. So Julius found the quote from JCB. All the clues you need to get within a decent proximity of each treasure box are inside the book. What does decent proximity mean?
I remember Mike was criticizing him.
I was like, if you didn't mark exactly where it is, how are we supposed to find it? So I wonder what that means. And maybe when we get the book, it'll become apparent what that means. Yeah. So who's ordering a JCB TTI license plate? That's pretty good. Maybe Cynthia will. We'll see if Cynthia gets wrapped up into this like she did at the Royal.
Oh, here we go. I would leave it and go back to my room for an expensive bottle of wine and pick it up the next day after sleeping in, of course.
And how heavy are these things? I mean,
and
especially
just think about, you know what's funny, USA China? We get exactly what you're saying. Think of all these new people that are going to come in that have only dealt with the JCB hunt, and they're going to go, what the hell does that mean? And then we're going to be very patient and explain it.
Yeah, people are giving their estimation of what within proximity means. Fen said close proximity as well. So
Fen said an exact spot. He's been quoted many a time saying exact spot.
Right. Okay. So what else? Anything else from the article?
Okay, wait. Let me just check my notes.
Okay.
He did say that there's going to be a whole postscript about safety, danger, and I'm hoping that includes rules and some assumptions like, do you put Red hair. Lucy, look at Covert One. What
Everybody's
the hell?
around.
This is like the best family reunion ever. Okay. Sorry. I hope it's not just safety and danger. I hope he gives us some, like, is it continental U.S.? I think he's already clarified that one. But is there one in each region? I hope he gives us, that's going to have to be our first show, is going over the safety, the danger, this whole postscript, and kind of initial thoughts as I get my book.
You got a book, I got a book, and then we're going to give a book away too. Everybody, we will come up with a way to randomly give a book away to somebody.
Well, Davi was saying, I will find it and never say a word ever. What if he has a GPS in there, or you open it and there's a camera? I think I've heard there's some great cameramen that have done that before.
Yeah. I mean, he's going to want the publicity of the first one being found. Will he give the solution when the first one's found? Like for that chapter, if one of the little ones is found, and then we get an idea of how it works. He could just put an Apple AirTag in each one, right? At least then he knows it's being moved anyway.
And I don't want to take it home or take it to my hotel where someone comes and murders me.
You know what would be really bad is if somebody finds it, opens it, takes everything out, and leaves the box back there. So the next person thinks they found it, and it's an empty box. It'd be cool just to have the puzzle box, I think. All right.
Or what if they take it, they move it, and then they start an auction site and try to sell it to the highest bidder?
Yeah, right. Yeah, let's hope those issues don't happen. Okay, last paragraph from this article on Screen Rant.
I like that.
Was seeing everything together for the first time. He's referencing the treasure. I was like, wow, it does look like something I would have thought that I would have found on a quest. At the very end, after you did everything you had to do, you got to count your loot. He's talking about Dungeons and Dragons. I was like, wow, it's really amazing how all these pieces came together to kind of create that image. So that was a really big win. It was very satisfying for me that day. And that's where I think the D&D tie-in comes in. He wanted the treasure that you get from D&D. He wanted that represented in these treasure boxes. And from what we see in that video, he's done a good job. So, okay, that is that article. But wait, there's more. What else is he posting?
Wait. Okay, I'm going to read a couple things. JCB,
okay, yeah.
They are spread out within the United States. There's no more than one box in any state.
Mm-hmm.
Proximity means nearness or closeness. It can refer to physical distance or how close things are in relation to each other.
Yeah, and I like spread out within the United States. So, and one thing, yes, I'm going to bring up Thursday's show again. One thing that I will say the Great U.S. Treasure Hunt is done right is there are rules on how they've defined which states they used. And K-Pro is going to do a PowerPoint. Maybe we can even guess what state they might be in, or we can eliminate some states they are not. So we'll talk to the Great U.S. Treasure Hunt about that on Thursday. And what I will do is let me put a link to Thursday's show. So you guys.
What about, are you rooting for me, Great U.S. Treasure Hunt? You can't pick your favorite kids. All of them have to be equal.
What's that?
He says he's rooting for Lucy. I like Lucy a lot too, but I like me and money.
And there is the link to Thursday's show. And I will say this, the Great U.S. Treasure Hunt comes out before JCB's Treasure Hunt. So you can work on both. We'll work on both. All right. What would the olive jar be worth? I mean, JCB paid what? About $40,000 in the Heritage auction for Forrest Fenn's olive jar?
$47,000 plus shipping, insurance.
$47,000. Now, I don't think it's worth that much, but
let's just say 50.
A lot of talk.
Let's make it a round number, 50.
50 grand. I mean, we would pay for it. We're not paying 50 grand.
Look at what Hooli said.
Depends if it's open. That's true. Has it been opened? That's a good point. Hopefully, whatever doc comes out that JCB is in, he will clarify if it's been
Who
opened.
would buy it? I would, depending on the price. Like I got an offer for the Shiloh, or I'm sorry, the WSOF gift that of the flies. I was asked if I would buy it, but they wanted a few more zeros than I was willing to pay. So it's what the market will bear. If there is someone that would buy, I don't think it's anywhere near that. But
T Brown, if we bought the olive jar from whoever finds it, we're going to open it. That's the point on a live stream. That's the point for opening up for the whole community.
Mike, sometimes you need to talk to your wife before you keep talking.
I'll talk her into it.
Because there's also a legal issue. Someone that rhymes with Milo has said the family will take legal action and defend vigorously.
Yapper!
Oh,
right.
that's in the naughty folder.
Um,
I'm going to delete all those when you're not looking.
But here's the thing. Forrest Fenn said, I put it in there for the finder. So there is a legal argument that whoever gets the olive jar can't open it, in my opinion. Now, do you want to pay the expense to go through a legal issue? But anyway. Oh, there you go. Eleanor Blast says, if I find it, I'll sell it to you for your copy of your treasure hunt book, The Invitation, available now, and 10 Chaseopolis. Well, that's a deal, Eleanor. There you go. All right.
Well, no, what would be cool is even if someone wanted to keep it, you can come on our show. And, okay.
Oh, yeah,
so
it's true.
Don't open it. Whoever you like more, the dark side over here, Mike or me, invite one of us or both of us, and we will open it with you.
Yes, actually, anybody who finds one of these treasure chests, you have an open invitation to come on the phone, to come on the show. And also, when everybody gets their book, I think we do a panel where people can give their impressions of the book. Not so much these are the clues and I solve them, but just their impression of the book.
Yes.
Which is what we're going to do in Discord as well, as people get their books. Okay.
I think that would be fun. And here's the cool part. I don't know how long this will take. So like Copper Dan's Hunt. I remember when Copper Dan's Hunt, we solved it like many people did within a couple of hours. We couldn't get out there in time and had to get a team that got past as they were going up to find it. So much like that, if let's just say it is an X and there's one in each region and then one in the Midwest, does that mean that we need to partner with somebody? And how do partnerships work? And I can tell you from being on the other side of the shroud and being an originator, you need to be careful who you partner with. There's some shenanigans going on.
Shenanigans, everybody. Not in a good way. So if you don't know, I'll take a little time out for our treasure hunt book, The Invitation.
Lee Brown.
What would he say?
Mike, you would have to agree if we're thinking of the movie I'm thinking of. No.
Easy.
Or wait, would Mike remember the blanket, guys?
These are ladies, and they shall be treated thusly with respect and dignity.
Exactly.
Was that almost set up? That was a little coincidental.
All off the cuff. Okay, so our book, The Invitation, is a treasure hunt somewhere in Clark County, Nevada. One of the Forrest Fenn's gold coins from his treasure hunt is in that treasure, is in the prize, along with some silver and some other cool things. So questmystery.com, you can order the book there if anybody's interested. Okay, let's switch over to Instagram real quick. Jon Collins-Black is on Instagram. Again,
He's
guys.
everywhere, guys. So you need to basically be on every social media platform.
But again, do you need any of this to solve it? I
don't
think so.
100% you do.
All the clues are in the book. But 100%. As you can see, he has posted these 7 things. Some are quotes, some are pictures of the treasure. It's just cool stuff. So Instagram, Twitter, he has a Facebook, but I don't think he's posted too much on Facebook about it. And the other thing is he still has a private life, and I'm sure everybody's going to be digging into this guy now that he's doing $1 million upon $1 million treasure hunt. So yeah, he's probably got those issues to worry about as well, unfortunately. But remember, hintofriches.com. I will post every article, every promo that he puts out will be there in one post.
Did you pin that? Oh, you can't. You're not an admin there.
Yeah, you've got to.
I will pin that to you. So those of you that don't know, Mike and I met in Forrest Fenn's den in 2018.
That's right. Forrest Fenn's house is where we met.
There was Mike's life beforehand. He had the Cowlazars channel and I had Thor. And now we've come together as a marriage.
The yin and the yang, the light and the dark. That's right.
No, don't call me the dark. What the hell?
Didn't say dark. All right. Ken Oklahoma says, you guys didn't try and end your treasure hunt prior to JCB starting, which is October 21. We have actually had that conversation, but I think K-Pro persuaded me that it wouldn't be fair to end it early. We just sold a book yesterday. Somebody bought the invitation yesterday. I haven't mailed them their book yet. So It wouldn't be fair to end it. Now, we are going to put out some clues, and we're hoping we can do something fun in October for the 6-month anniversary. Our book has been out 6 months in October. So
you guys are taking the dark thing to a different place.
Don't be a player hater.
That's right. Don't be a player hater. Jon Collins-Black or us. Come on, cut it out. Okay, what else? So they put out the PR. You explained to them the PR Newswire thing. You know such things.
Okay, so when you are trying to publicize something, you put out a press release on a PR newswire. The PR newswire is where all the news outlets all over the country and the world, but let's talk about the country here, all over the country, when they either want to lead, or let's say they have a slow news day and they need or they have a theme to something that's happening or whatever it is, they'll go to the PR newswire and they will grab a potential story that they think's interesting. So the PR team did their PR thing, and they put the initial announcement of Jon Collins-Black on the PR newswire. Well, I think it was Yahoo Finance, several national outlets took it on, and then one local outlet, which is in Nashville, Tennessee.
The coincidences. I did want to say this disclaimer. We are not working or involved in JCB's treasure hunt. We're fans. I'm a fan, K-Pro sometimes. We're fans of the treasure hunt. We're looking forward to working on the treasure hunt. We're going to try and find one or more of the treasure boxes. So we're not working with JCB. We're not being paid by him or his PR firm. So I just want to make that clear. Basically, we're fans and we're trying to promote it because we think treasure hunts, we promote all treasure hunts, most of them anyway. And we think it'll be a lot of fun. See, there it is. The Great U.S. Treasure Hunt was just in Nashville. Do you see? Conspiracy theory. Yeah. All right. I wonder if the 5 states will be known shortly after the book release. So that would be interesting, wouldn't it? I know one has to be Nevada, right, K-Pro? What better than to bury something in the desert?
Well, I think it's going to be, I don't think it's going to be in California since there's so many treasure hunting laws that make so many problems. But Nevada, Arizona, anywhere around Utah, this area. Sure.
David had to clarify. He wasn't hiding a coin, or was he? Rudy Green's like, I'm in. I live there. All right. Okay, so that's what the PR was. He sent that out, whether people pick it up or not.
Well, so some places picked it up. Now the D&D, and then they're doing the PR places also doing other D&D. I actually think it was Coy who said it. I think they're trying to get that group advertised and PR, and then they're going to probably hit a couple of other groups, niches of the market.
And here's the other thing. You do want to go to his website, treasureinside.com, and just also to read about the cool things. But here, you also want to sign up because at the very bottom, you give him your name and email address. I'm sure he's going to email everybody before the book comes out. I would assume that he's going to compile a list for a reason. So media inquiries, contact info@treasureinside.com. We don't know if he's checking that or if he has somebody else, like a PR.
I can tell you he has someone else.
Somebody else will respond. Okay.
Yeah.
So there you go.
It's part of his PR team. There's a couple different people. He does have a team. There's not just one person working on this as a PR effort.
Gary Gygax would be proud. For any D&D fan, Gary Gygax is
the
originator of Dungeons and Dragons. Yes.
Can I ask you something? I followed everything he said. There was a 1983 box set. I used to be a dungeon master. If you were a true D&D fan, would you be a little disappointed? I'm not saying it badly because I'm just wondering.
Right.
There wasn't a lot of D&D. Like she asked something about, or the person that was interviewing him asked something about D&D, and he's like, well, we can get to that, and he went right back into the treasure. Do you find it interesting that there wasn't a lot of specialized knowledge about D&D, and maybe he did it on purpose to make sure he still keeps his audience?
Yeah, I don't think you need specialized knowledge for D&D. Now, that's one of the questions. Do you need specialized knowledge like pop culture or something in order to find one of these? But I would assume, because not everybody in today's day and age played D&D, right. Is it an easier, do you have a better time finding one of these?
Yeah. So Dario asked, K-Pro, what do you know about the helpers? There is a PR firm with a PR executive, and there are at least 2 other people on his team. And between Mike and I, we have communicated with them. So what?
Nice. All right. Pretty awesome stuff. We're already an hour and 15 minutes in. The time flies when we're talking about treasure hunts in the Treasure Hunt Amusement Park. This is a big one, guys. The Forest Fen roller coaster got shut down, but JCB's, there's Treasure Inside roller coaster, has opened up. And I liken it to this for any of our Midwest friends that have been to Cedar Point. Cedar Point had the Gemini, the oldest wooden roller coaster. I don't know if it's still there, but I was there as a kid. Sandusky, Ohio, Cedar Point. So that was the Forest Fen ride, the Gemini. Get it? The 2 Omegas, the Gemini, because it was 2 roller coasters side by side. That's closed down, and now the brand new super duper roller coaster is opened, and that is JCB's. There's treasure inside.
Well,
Okay.
And some of us may have some PTSD and have some judgments of who's in the hunt. And I had bad experiences with such and such, or I partnered with them. And now here's what I say we do. We leave all that behind us because Mike might be back there. That's a dark place. See that? See that dark place back there?
That's right.
Leave it back there because here's what I say. I'm going to show them all this time. I'm not partnering with no one except Mike. Yeah. And well, maybe. And I'm going to find it first. I want the people that did me dirty last time. Everyone come in because I'm going to find it first. And you're not going to do anything that I'm not giving my secrets.
And there it is. I think that sums it up.
But don't go back to this place. This place right here. See how dark that is? Let's just leave that in the past.
So I'll give you a little preview of Discord. And again, everybody, let's meet in Discord and just talk about JCB's treasure hunt, maybe reminisce about D&D. This is our Discord. And I posted this meme. I said, okay, kids, what is this dice roll called? Anybody in the chat, can you tell me what this dice roll is called in the D&D world? Somebody said a natural 20. That's true. But there's another term for Dungeons and Dragons. You know what it is if you played. If you roll a 20, what is that term? I know Jon Collins-Black knows what it is. Let's see if somebody can get it in the chat. A natural 20 is called a what in Dungeons and Dragons? What's that? Yeah, natural 20 is true, but there's another term. Critical hit. Coy got it.
Okay, so I just heard from.
Good job, Coy.
So 6:58. So about 17 minutes ago, I do have a response from the PR team at Jon Collins-Black.
Wait, what was the question you asked them?
I wanted to know if there was any updates on what the PR plan is and specifically the book tour, because we would love to organize something, but it takes a little, a lot of people have to put in for vacation and that sort of thing.
Bonus points, double damage, and critical hit. Good job, guys. Okay. Go ahead.
She said, sorry for the delay because I told her we were going to go on live. Anyway, sorry for the delay in the response. She will be up. There are no updates to share right now, but they will have more information that they will be sharing in a few weeks.
Nice. And we're all waiting with bated breath for this info, until we get the books.
Specifically what I'm really interested in knowing about.
Yeah. If there's a book signing, that would be awesome. We are going to obviously invite Jon Collins-Black to our meetup next year here in Vegas. We do a yearly meetup of treasure hunters. We always called it the World Series of Fen. Next year, it is called the Game, the Grand Adventure Meetup. The World Series of Fen is a poker tournament, which is part of that. But we'd love to have JCB come by and sell some books and maybe do a little talk or sign some books. Okay. We also have live audio from Jon Collins-Black.
That's the way I grew up, and that's the way I'm going to be.
That's it. D&D is part of how he grew up. It's in his book. You don't have to like it, but you will accept it. Okay. I think it's a lot of fun.
JCB's team watching us. It was interesting because Mike found a typo because he likes to go dark and criticize. And he put that up on Discord in the Treasure Inside area. Within like 10 minutes, JCB's team or JCB had corrected it. Do I think JCB's in there? It sure is interesting when Mike posts something that criticizes, then he immediately changes it.
Yeah, and you know what? If there was a typo, there's a typo. Nobody's perfect.
Oh my gosh, you cannot use my words. No way.
And if Jon Collins-Black is doing this on his own, did he have a proofreader? Did he have an editor? Or would that not be fair because they have an advanced
publishing company, honey?
Oh, that's right. The children's book. So if you guys go to JonCollinsBlack.com, you can learn all about the children's books that he has put out as well. More audio from Jon Collins-Black.
You got a problem? You just throw some money at it and say, go away.
All right. We like to have some fun on our show. If Jon Collins-Black PR people are watching, we do like to have a lot of fun. And again, we are not affiliated with the treasure hunt. We're not being paid by anybody. Everybody thought we were being paid by the Underground Chase or Forrest Fenn because we did a lot of shows on his treasure hunt. No, we're just fans. We're going to be out there looking for it.
Somebody just posted on one of the forums about they never owned a house before. And I was thinking, we both owned a house. They don't have jobs, and K-Pro just married him for the money. See, you know what I didn't know? That's actually true now because your D&D knowledge is going to get me that olive jar, and that I married you for that, but I didn't even know it. I love you and the nerdy part of you, and it's going to pay off.
She fell in love with bovine photons, everybody. Some of you get it. Okay. All right. I think that's it. Thank you to Jon Collins-Black. It's going to be an awesome treasure hunt. It's going to give something for us to work on in the fall and the winter. It's going to be a lot of fun. We do need a Goonies soundbite, Davia. That's a good call.
Only if it's good. Only if it's not inappropriate.
Okay.
JCB Underground. Do not start, Sam. There is no underground.
So again, whenever we will do shows sporadically between now and launch date of getting the book, whenever there's something new, we'll go live and talk about it. So guys, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you thumbs up the video. This is your go-to place for Jon Collins-Black. There's Treasure Inside, Treasure Hunt. Go, okay, bro.
Cheryl said, not in California. Gee whiz. That is a guess of mine. When Tammy did like one treasure in every state, she said she ran into considerable issues in California because they have a lot of laws. You know, they like to sue each other and all of that.
About selling tickets. Yeah.
She actually excluded the state because of all the issues. I have heard that from others when they've wanted to try to do a treasure hunt. California has a lot of, is it a sweepstakes? Is it not, etc. So that is only a guess of mine. I'm not saying that it is. Yeah, it's not from JCB. I didn't sip some brandy with him and chit chat with him about it. I've never met him, never talked to him. So I'm just saying that as my guess.
My opinion is that it's different if you sell a book. Tammy was trying to sell tickets to an event, meaning there's going to be a treasure hunt event in California. And the Eventbrite website said, oh, you can't sell tickets because it's like a contest. I think if you sell a book, I mean, JCB could have went and hid these wherever he wanted to. David can tell us the Great U.S. Treasure Hunt is one of yours in California. That would answer it right there. You should just let us know.
Was one of his in California
Thursday's show. Yeah.
Wait, and where was the one that Hillary went? I thought it was California. Tree was there and she couldn't get a hold of it.
It was California. Yeah. You can do treasure hunts in California. I think Eventbrite was the website.
How it was set up or whatever.
Yeah.
See, what I just said was I was full of malarkey. I'm the dark side.
So if we did a hunt in California, would we be flouting their stupid laws? Oh, no. Yeah, no, they would not. All right. Yeah, so Michael Stather hid one in California, which is the one that Randy found at the Beacon Star. Yeah.
What about the one Sassy found? David Blaine, wasn't he from California?
David Blaine was at Rick Rubin's house. David Blaine's Mysterious Stranger, that was in California. So we just shot down that. California's in play, everybody.
See, don't listen to me. The only thing you might not know, I need a crutch. Do not listen to me.
Okay, she said it. I didn't say it, everybody. She said it. So, if you didn't know, we are married. Okay, I think that's it. What do you think, K-Pro? Do we have anything else? We will go live again when there's new info that comes out about JCB's hunt, of course. We're going to go live when we get the book and do a book review. We have ordered an extra book so that we can do a giveaway. One lucky person out there is going to get the book for free. And what's that?
JBR Princess is here. Look, everybody's here.
Oh, great. She's a good one.
Yeah, you have to know. It's probably very busy for you right now. Don't come back until maybe January.
But I can't find the invitation, so that's all right.
I don't know. She finds if you guys don't know, we have Vegas Die here in Vegas. And she more than once has solved it. 10 grand in her pocket. Yeah. So, okay. So the big thing is we're not only covering U.S. Treasure Hunt on Thursday, we're actually having the creator on. He's in there now. His name's David Steele. So we're going to have hard-hitting questions.
Jeff. Don't forget about Jeff. He may be there. He's playing volleyball. He may be there as well.
Okay. So put questions in the comment section if there's something in particular you want to know. It is a comic book. It has 10 states in it. He has a lot of parameters of states and where they're next to each other and regions and all that. We might be able to narrow it down. We'll do that later. But if there's anything you want to know, don't put it in chat. Put it in the comments. Well, put it in chat too. It doesn't matter. Then the following Monday, yes, tons happened. I will say tons of time happened on the forest hunt, but I will say there's some things that, yes, were developed. Dale was in Yellowstone. There was lots of detail discussed. It doesn't get us much far forward, but we will definitely discuss that next Monday, unless we have something new and breaking from JCB's group.
So Danny, shout out to Danny who emailed me just before we went live and said, hey, I know you were going to talk about Forrest Fenn in your Discord that night, but I wasn't able to join. So can you answer a question about what was said? We will do that on the next Forrest Fenn show. We don't want to hijack this one that much. So we will have next Monday will probably be Forrest Fenn. I'm sure K-Pro will have another PowerPoint of some kind.
Do you see it? Jeff will definitely probably be there.
Yeah, that's right. All right. With Wilson. Okay.
Is Jack excluded? No, there's some that have already said that he might be in it.
Okay, that's it. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. If you haven't registered, and by registered, I mean go to treasureinside.com, put in your email address, go read the articles, go make up your own decision. I know a lot of people, when I posted this link on Reddit, said that's a scam. There's no way somebody's doing $1 million treasure hunt. And wrong. It's legit.
No, I don't think they're necessarily wrong. The information that we have now, we called Blackbeard, I think, before a lot of people did, that it was a scam. Not saying whoever says it first matters. Right. I think we've done a really good job in figuring out which are scams, which are not, etc. I will tell you the one that I feel bad about not participating in because of some personal things that we've worked through and we're okay was the Candyman hunts. I wasn't sure about that one. And all we say when we feel like maybe something's off or we don't want to participate, that's all we say. We don't bash them. We don't say, like Blackbeard, it didn't pass the smell test. I would say U.S. Treasure Hunt certainly does. And in case you didn't know, Charles Beale is coming back and we will not be participating. I haven't even asked Mike, but Mike, you're not allowed. We will not be participating in that hunt. I don't care if it's $1 billion. I think it's only $1 million. And they finally, after years, gotten enough money together for printing costs. Wonk, wonk.
Oh, you're angry.
All right, everybody. That's it. We're going to shut it down before K-Pro goes too negative. Well, thanks for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe. We've got a lot more videos coming on different treasure hunts, and we will do a lot more on JCB. Thanks for tuning in. And, hey, all of our friends, thanks for joining the chat. That's a lot of fun. We'll see you in Discord, and we'll have an open discussion over there. All right, K-Pro? That's what you get with our show, guys. The light, the dark, the positive, the negative. But one thing that's a bonus for our show is we don't just say how the treasure hunts are great. If there are critical aspects or things that need to be called out, we'll do that as well. And we'll do it with JCB's book. If there's something that doesn't make sense or just doesn't pass the smell test, we will talk about it.
It's not dark if it's true.
It's not dark if it's true. Somebody should put it on a t-shirt.
If that catches on, David and Mike, you're in big trouble.
Darth K-Pro. All right. See you, everybody.